What is going on in my Houston Texans family? We are less than 10 days away from training camp. Hell, we might be less than 7 days away from training camp. But first, we got one thing that we got to talk about, and it's unfortunate, but we learned early this morning that former Houston Texan and Philadelphia Eagles linebacker Brian Braymond, who was battling a rare form of cancer, has passed away. I think we can all collectively say, fuck cancer. Prayers to his family. Condolences to them also. Brian Braymond, I think he only spent his time in the NFL with Houston and Philly. With the Philadelphia Eagles, he spent majority of his time there. Won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. That was great to see. I know when we all saw Brian Braymond in that Super Bowl, we were rooting for him. In Houston, fortunately, didn't get to hold up a Lombardi trophy, but Brian Braymond arguably has one of the best plays in Texans history, and that was the special teams tackle where he hit the returner without a helmet, led with his head, by the way, and of course it was against the Tennessee Titans. That set the tone for the entire game, and that pretty much sums up who Brian Braymond was. Just a unique individual who would rally the boys and get ready for war. Rest in peace, Brian Braymond. Once again, fuck cancer. Guys, what we are going to continue to do with this episode is talk about Houston Texans training camp that's coming up. We're going to continue to talk about some players that we are keeping an eye on once the pads come on, once training camp is available to the public. And once again, guys, I will be at every single Houston Texans training camp practice that is available to the public. We didn't get the credentials this year. We'll get them next year, though. With that being said, my name is Ruben Calvillo. This is the 713 Houston Sportcast, where I drop daily Houston Texans content. Please make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for all the latest Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. Now, our first episode, we talked about potential starting center Jake Andrews. Now, after I saw the interview with him, with Mark Vandermeer and John Harris, I think you can pencil in Jake Andrews to be your starting center. Our second episode was about Laken Tomlinson, the for sure new starting left guard for the Houston Texans. So how about today we talk about the new starting right guard for the Houston Texans? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Titus Howard, someone who I think is going to surprise a lot of people. On Bleacher Report, Harley said it himself. He thinks Titus Howard is going to have a Pro Bowl year. I took it a step further with his hot take and said Titus Howard is going to be a captain of this Houston Texans team. Yes, Titus Howard, captain. You would have not heard me say this last year or the previous years, because when you talk about Titus Howard, you knew him and Laremy Tunsil were like this. They were together consistently, and it was clear that Laremy Tunsil was an influence on Titus Howard. I mean, we called them Instagram models. You know, how many times did we see them post outfits instead of game day pics? When we talked about Laremy Tunsil and Titus Howard, we didn't use the word swarm. I said it here multiple times on Bleacher Report, ESPN. I didn't think Laremy Tunsil or Titus Howard were swarmers. I'm starting to change my mind on Titus Howard. With the trade of Laremy Tunsil, a lot of fans said, what's going to happen with Titus? I could see a scenario where Titus is gone. And honestly, I was like, okay, if there's a scenario for Titus to be gone, then go ahead. But the way we've heard him speak about this offensive line, the way we've seen him act, and I'm talking about, you saw the picture posted by him of all the Houston Texan players in the weight room, and he's front and center flexing, looking at the camera. You would have not have saw this picture a couple years ago, hell, even last year, when he was talking to Aaron Wilson, and Aaron Wilson does a fantastic job covering this Houston Texans team. He talked about how this is the most work he's gotten at a position, in OTAs and minicamp. He used the word nasty when describing this Houston Texan offensive line heading into 2025. What I want to see from Titus Howard is him be a leader of this offensive line. Like I said with Laken Tomlinson, I also need to see Titus Howard be the best offensive lineman out there. One of the best, right? I need to see him and Laken, your two veterans, your two interior guys. I need to see them dominate. It's going to be hard to dominate against this defensive line led by head coach D'Amico Ryans. But they need to win more than they lose. With Titus Howard, I don't think I'm the only one who's viewing him as a potential leader of this offensive line. So if we see struggles early, that confidence is going to go away. But I will say this. I do believe in Titus Howard heading into 2025. I think he is going to shock a lot of people. Because when you really look at it, Titus Howard has done everything that the Texans have asked, whether he's liked it or not. And he's shown he's, not like, a move, right? When you would go to his Twitter and you would see right tackle only. But it really wasn't right tackle only because he's played at left guard, right tackle. I'm pretty sure Titus Howard has been at left tackle at some point. No, because Laremy Tunsil has been here. I felt like he's played every position on the offensive line except for center and left tackle. So as a team player, I've always felt like he did what the team needed him to do. Then you see the contract restructure in the offseason. Okay, that's what a leader should do. I think all signs are pointing upward to Titus Howard, ladies and gentlemen. But you guys let me know your thoughts and comments down below. How do you feel about Titus Howard heading into 2025? Do you think he's going to be good? Do you think he's going to be bad? For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free to follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very blessed day.